Do you still want the options? Did you still want to plow in for the visual, or do you want to go ahead and suit up for the RNAV?
I will just suit up for the RNAV, probably the smart thing.
Just
be safe, that way we won't
gentleman
lose the report in the clouds there for a few seconds.
I'm going to run through a real basic start on the BAE Hawk. For those of you who don't have the BAE Hawk, I really don't recommend it at all. I feel pretty gypped after blowing. I think I got it on sale for $23 on Steam, and I feel genuinely gypped. It's a great looking aircraft on the exterior. Looks fantastic on the outside, but once you do a full pattern takeoff and landing, the flat model of this thing is completely unfinished and seems like real junk. If you've flown a real aircraft, if you ever had any formal flight training in an actual aircraft, you're a pilot yourself, you will probably agree with me. But first of all, before you try and turn this thing on, because the documentation and the keys and everything on this aircraft are all unfinished and pretty poor, you have to go to your controls and you have to assign a key to the engine starter. Where is it here? Yeah, now you can't see my mouse cursor, but you can see that. Okay, so before you can start this aircraft, you have to assign a button on preferably your joystick. I use an X55. Go ahead and talk shit if you want. It's never broke yet. Of course, now that I said that, it will. Anyway, you need to assign a button on your stick to the start/relight button. Without that, you cannot start the aircraft. That really should be titled Engine Starter. I don't know why the developer couldn't just title that Engine Start. That would have made more sense. You have to have that assigned. That control, as far as I know, is on the stick right here, but it's not clickable in the cockpit, so you wouldn't know where it was. I mean, you can't even find it in the cockpit, which, if this were a really truly realistic sim, I should be able to find every control in the cockpit. But whatever. The very first thing we do is turn on our emergency lights so we can see what we're doing. We will turn on, you don't have to turn on everything, you can turn on just BAT 1 if you want, but I turn everything on. Both batteries, pitot heat, fuel pump. Back here behind your seat is your fuel cock lever that needs to be on. Your ignition switch up here needs to be in the on or start position. That when you flip that switch, it does not ignite anything. That's simply arming, as far as I can tell, because again the documentation for this aircraft sucks from the developer, and maybe one day they'll finish it. But right now, if you're watching this and you have not purchased the BAE Hawk for DCS, don't. It's a waste of your money. It's not anywhere near done yet. But if you have it and you're getting frustrated trying to turn it on, like a friend of mine is, here you go. So again, all these switches on, both bats, fuel pump, pitot heat, fuel cock on. Up on your left here, ignition on, engine starter position switch in the on position. Do not press forward to start. Like most modern aircraft, starting the airplane means making all the lights go out, so we'll get there. Now the button you assigned to relight, or start or relight, hold that button down. It's going to take you a second. Sometimes more than a few seconds. One of these stupid lights. There we go. Okay. You hold until that GTS light comes on. Now let go of that button. GTS light is on. That means, I'm assuming that means that your starter motor, or otherwise known in the United States as an APU, is running. I don't see a gauge or read anything in documentation that details how to be sure that that APU, which is what I think that is on. But it's on. Leave your throttle lock engaged. Press this up. Start. Watch your RPM. Once your RPM passes 15%, go ahead and unlock your throttle. Alright, we got rotation. That means the engine is spinning, which I don't know why. What idiot decided that light was necessary? Obviously, if your percent RPM is above 0, it's spinning. But, congratulations, you've just started the biggest jalopy in DCS. Might as well go ahead and finish up startup sequence. After startup, for whatever reason, you have to reset hydraulic system 2, or the second hydraulic system. There we go. Turn my emergency lights off, I don't need those. I'll arm all my lights. like we do in real actual flying with a real aircraft. You do lights, camera, action before we take off. Right now we're doing the camera portion. Camera meaning we observe all the instruments, observe all the switchology and levers and whatnot, make sure it's all working. What I'm doing right now is I'm adjusting my lights, I'm turning my taxi light on, I'm doing cabin airflow to normal, cabin airflow normal and automatic, oxygen on so we don't pass out. We can do a ground air brake test, but I don't know where the indicator light for that is. The manual may tell me, but I don't know where that is. That yeah, so that's pretty useless, as is the rest of this aircraft. If you want to set up your radio, it's down here. Yay for radios. That part doesn't work. That part does kind of work. This is your VHF, set that up as you want. It's your mode selectors. Set that up as needed, blah blah blah. And then you get to sit here and wait for this thing's arcane navigational system to find Jesus. And get all set up. I assume this UHF ADF system works, but I haven't screwed with it, I haven't messed with it. I see no reason to, because this aircraft is so unfinished. You can probably hear my rotor pedals moving, but they don't move in the aircraft, and I have no individual toe brake axes to assign in the controls, so I can't actually steer the aircraft like you really can with the real one, which is fantastic, because it's supposed to be a simulation. Good job, guys. Excellent work. If Belsimtech can do it in half the time for the same price or less with a better looking aircraft that actually handles like a real one, anybody can. Just saying. Also, I'm going to continue bitching for a minute. This is dumb. I understand in the real aircraft why this is here and how it works, and that makes perfect sense. However, you can't assign keys to it. There are key assignments for it, but you can't assign it to your HOTAS, or at least I can't, which means you cannot conveniently arm or disarm the weapon system in the aircraft in flight. You have to stop, move your hand to the mouse, and try and click in the right areas. It's kind of like massaging a woman. You got to find the right spot, but it never can seem to find the right spot. There's a ground lock, obviously, so I can't arm the weapon system on the ground, which is probably for the best. So I can sit here and play with the weapon systems while I wait for the damn navigation system to find Jesus. It still has yet to find him. Yeah. Now things have changed since this thing was first released for DCS. The original version, you had to call for ground power and then reset each AC system. Honestly, don't know why that changed. I don't know if that's because the dead developers screwed up or what. There's my anti-skid and my flaps. Still waiting for Jesus.
4169, turn right, heading 120, join the local lounge.
120 to join.
Yes, 109, turn 10 degrees left, join the local lounge. You're a mile and a half from County, cleared ILS 8 left approach.
It's a good thing my standby ADI works.
Yeah.
Most useful F4 camera of a DCS airplane. You can see inside the aircraft's butthole. Totally useful.
Yeah, he's pretty busy, so after you check on, be ready.
So I'm just going to go ahead and be a bastard and taxi because I don't feel like I need an attitude indicator on a day like this.
52 County, Houston Tower 120.72.
So yeah. reasons why you don't want to buy this aircraft. It taxis like it's on rails, literally. It taxis like an FSX aircraft. Stupid. Really stupid. I mean, how long have they had this thing in dev? And it's still, yeah, and what? And then when you land and take off, it just snaps to the ground like a magnet. Whee! Because you can totally do this in real aircraft without any negative repercussions to the landing gear or rolling the aircraft over or anything like that. Yeah, I've done that in real aircraft. Works perfectly fine. Yay! Look at that. Woo, wee, woo, woo, woo.
16 approach.
Let's go ahead and give it full beans while we're fucking around with it. Yeah.
4169, reduce to 200.
You had us down to 190. Do you want us to increase to 200?
And
sorry, I had you 19. I'm sure you were 2 and 210. Go ahead. 190 not split, please. And
magnetic snap off the ground.
190 split, 170
Absolutely ridiculous. Don't buy this aircraft for DCS. If you already have, you're like me, and you feel pretty jilted out of $30 or whatever, $40, God forbid. Because you could totally do that, you know, in a real Hawk without breaking literally everything. yeah, totally, absolutely. So real, so Doge, such Hawk.
He's probably going to go in front of you, so just use caution for the similar sounding.
I will try not to mess it up. Threshold 6116.
Yeah, no worries. He's pretty busy, so after you check on when I switch in a moment, just be ready to listen.
See if we can get a touchdown.
Pretty darn busy.
Like a magnet, yeah. So realistic. I'm gonna save that track. I'm gonna send it to British Aerospace. That's what I'm gonna do. You should too. You should save this. You should save this video. In fact, you should save all the videos. And so wheel brakes. Can we stop from 100 knots? Absolutely. Absolutely. We can stop this aircraft with a full fuel load without locking up the brakes, without burning anything, and then taxiing around like a race car. If you have motion sickness, I'm sorry. Or if I just caused a seizure, I'm sorry. But, so, don't buy the Hawk. Save your money, buy the L39 if you want a cool jet trainer.
AC-4479 used on approach.
Maybe they'll finish this one in like the next decade, but just wow.
National aircraft landing Intercontinental Airport,
Just
the winds are 040 at 14,
wow.
and 2983.
Uniform stairs, Zulu, turn right, heading 180.
I got a little distracted there, just want to make sure I gave the right number. It is runway 9 transition speed at exit.
Show 61.
Actual 16 above, maintain 6,000.
Going to maintain 6,000.
3673 is a beam Mako, present heading out about 3,000, full status, clear down left, 8 left approach. Let's call it 3 miles from Medic, cross out above 5,000, clear the ILS runway 9 approach, speed your discretion.
Speed your discretion, Medic out above 5, clear the ILS.
Yep, and there we go, the airplane's off. Totally safe what I just did right there, totally realistically simulated, right? Absolutely. Don't buy this damn plane.
3965, kind of Houston Tower, 120.72.